So for all you people that are out there, oh, it's not fair, it's not this. Hey, politics is power, dude. All right? It only has to seem fair to the American people's majority. Okay? Whatever the truth is, it doesn't really matter what the truth is. The only thing that matters is the majority of the people believe what it's true. I mean, even Hitler said, the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. So if the majority of the people believe it, then it's the truth, even though it isn't the truth.
That says that the John Birch Society considers communism only one arm of a master conspiracy in which socialist American insiders are plotting to establish world government. Now, it also says, and here's Director John McManus, that's your public relations director, saying that former Secretary of State Alexander Haig and CIA Director William Casey are two of these master conspirators who are plotting to establish world government. Now, what do you say? That kind of silly, asinine statement is what makes people laugh at the John Birch Society.
Well, Tom, I'm sure being a long-standing member of the Rockefeller apparatus, and as a member of the Council on Foreign Relations of longstanding, you're fully aware that there is an elitist core in this country that has seen value in subsidizing communism, of protecting communism.
It has?
That is correct.
Sure. You're accusing me of subsidizing communism?
No, you idiot. We financed the communists in Russia. All right? Most of the people that took control of Russia, the Bolsheviks, were American Jewish people. All right? Not to say that there's anything racial component about that, but it was a humongous contingent of Jewish youth that took it upon themselves and went to Russia and took control of Russia in the midst of the democratic socialists removing the czars. And what ended up happening is that even though the democratic socialists took control of the of Russia and killed the czars and the entire family and the bloodline, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. So the fucking communists or the Bolsheviks just took power. They literally just took power. There's a long reasoning on how and why. I mean, Vladimir Lenin took like fucking 15 years, 20 years traveling village to village from Russia, Siberia, and all these fucking provinces, establishing communist boards and communist politburos and shit. Even though no one else took it serious, the communists did. And when they were able to come in and take power, they already had the fucking system established. It was like that. All fucking Vladimir Lenin needed was the military, and the military got co-opted by Trotsky.
I'm saying
because they happen to belong to a...
there is an elite core. Wait a minute. There is an elite core in this country.
And we funded Lenin.
American society.
We funded Lenin. We funded Mao. We funded all these fucking people.
I'm not one of
Well,
them.
I mean,
Trilateral Commission.
the Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations. Here's
Terminate both.
Well, let's face it, they've dominated the State Department for 40 years, and pretty much...
I mean, by the way, we talk about how Fidel Castro is like our fucking enemy. Remember for all, the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that shit. We put fucking... Dude, the fucking goddamn Cubans in the Sierra Maestra Mountains would have never have been able to take over Batista's army if they weren't trained by CIA agents. And, dude, fucking... There's been fucking photographs of fucking CIA agents training fucking Fidel and Che and all those fuckers, man.
All right, but what are they trying to do?
Well, their objective is to try to bring about a gradual transition in our society, a dissolving of sovereignty, and a moving steadily to the left on the political spectrum.
Well, who are they?
The elitist groups that I mentioned, particularly key individuals and policymakers in the Council
Is the
on Foreign
International
Relations.
Monetary Fund part of it?
Well, I would say the International Monetary Fund has certainly been set up for the purpose of facilitating that transfer of sovereignty and transfer of wealth on the road.
Right, we elected
Mr.
Mr. Conservative.
Let me just finish the point, because otherwise we're going to have a lot of unanswered questions. That you are looking at a group that has worked to bring about the dissolution of national sovereignties on the road to world government. And certainly you're familiar with the local professor Carroll Quigley, who has been part of your club, in which he admitted all this. And he said in his book...
Yes. And the book, well, he's going to say the book. Carroll Quigley, I think you all should read Tragedy and Hope. You all need to read that book because that's what he is about to quote, that Carroll Quigley basically put it out on the table on what's going on with this Pax Americana, elitist takeover, etc.
Book, Tragedy and Hope. The only thing I disagree is that we've worked to keep it a secret. And you see Arthur Schlesinger Jr. writing way back in 1947, says, yes, this is the hidden policy of America. But we can't tell the American public because they're too unsophisticated to see the value.
What is
They
mentality
are.
of world
They
government?
are
What is
unsophisticated.
instrumentality?
This is what I call the elite. Let's say there's about 10,000 of them. How is it these people are able to manipulate the 8 billion people here? If you talk to a lot of naive people, they think, oh, it's the Rothschilds over here, or it's the aliens. They don't understand. It's not any one individual. It's not any one organization.
It's
There's something
institutions.
called swarm intelligence. If you watch all those birds flying together, not any one of them is in control. They move together as a unit. They're closely knit. They're quote unquote telepathic, but they move with a singular goal. The goal of the elites here is power, profit, and control. This is the goal. So if we look at it from a control system, what are the inputs they're sending into this system to achieve their goals? And what is the output that they seek? So if you're an elite over here and you're looking at those 8 billion people, how do you know you're achieving your goal? Are people getting fat, meaning unhealthy? Are people getting dumb, which means ignorant? Are people happy, which means are they being entertained? Are people divided? Right?
You know, I mean, even though this guy may be of the Vivek Ramaswamy persuasion, he's actually stating some fairly decent facts thus far.
They isolated, disconnected. They don't want people here connecting with each other. Are people feeling helpless? Are people looking to the elites to save them? And they like that. They like when people here are looking to them, the enemy here, for their saviors. They really love that. They want people to be disorganized, and they definitely want people to be helpless. This is what they want. If you do not want to unite among people here and find who your own leaders are from below, they are quite happy. They're achieving their goal: power, profit, and control. Now, how do they do this? You're going to realize it's not any one group. It's an interconnected, tightly knit group.
That is correct. I mean, anybody who's been listening to me for some time, I've said that it's institutions that create the power structure that enable the control.
All closely interconnected. In fact, they all go to the same restaurants. They have all their kids going to the same equestrian shows. They all shop at the same place. They all go to the same parties. You're not part of that. So who are these people? And what are the institutions of power that they have? Well, first of all, they have academia. Harvard, Oxford, Yale, MIT, IIT.
The academia institution, or the intelligentsia, is what you would call these groups.
India, the top 100 university presidents. These people are on boards of companies, but it's about 100 people who run the major universities in the world. NGOs, or nonprofit.
Non-government organizations. This is another institution that controls the world. Hasn't anybody ever wondered why the Red Cross is on both sides of every fucking war? All right, there's a fucking war going on, and yet the Red Cross, a non-government organization, is always on both sides. Things that make you go, Anthony Sutton. I have suggested this guy, one of the most underrated scholars in American history. If you don't know who Anthony Sutton is, then you're an idiot.
Getting back to the Bolshevik Revolution.
And by the way, Wall Street did fund the Bolshevik Revolution. All right.
One of the ironies of
talks
it is
about it
that
here.
both Lenin and
talks about
Trotsky
it.
were in exile, one in Germany, one in the United States. Tell us about who helped them get where they were going to make sure that revolution was pulled off.
Well, let me summarize about 4 chapters into 4 minutes. Trotsky was in New York. He had no income. I summed his income for the year he was in New York. It was about $600. Yet he lived in an apartment. He had a chauffeured limousine. He had a refrigerator, which was very rare in those days. He left New York and went
Trotsky,
to Canada
by
on
the
his
way. Hold
way
on,
to the
pause this.
revolution.
What?
Ghost is a Jew.
Why are you even saying that, man? I use yarmulkes for coffee filters, all right? Did you hear Trotsky? He was in New York. He was living lavish. Kind of sounds like Antifa a little bit, huh? George Soros Antifa funding a little bit?
He had $10,000 in gold on him. He didn't earn more than $600 in New York. He was financed out of New York. There's no question about that. The British took him off the ship in Halifax, Canada. I got the Canadian archives. They knew who he was. They knew who Trotsky was. They knew he was going to start a revolution in Russia. instructions from London came to put Trotsky back on the boat with his party and allow them to go forward. So there is no question that Woodrow Wilson, who issued the passport for Trotsky, and the New York financiers who financed Trotsky,
Woodrow Wilson, the first progressive president, by the way,
and the British Foreign Office allowed Trotsky to perform his part in the revolution. Now over in Switzerland you get Lenin, who was in exile. He went through Germany in the famous sealed train.
That is correct. And look,
look,
by the way, Germany funded, the Kaiser funded communism. So once again, all of you fucking Nazi LARPers over here that try to pride yourself as some German Aryan, whatever the case might be, you had the Kaiser that actually funded fucking Lenin and Trotsky up to the tune of 500 million current United States dollars. So look it up. Look up Kaiser funds Bolshevik Revolution. You'll find what I'm talking about.
Mission, and with the encouragement of the German General Staff. And yet Germany and Britain were supposedly fighting each other. And you get them both moving these two key revolutionaries into place inside Russia. And then, of course, the rest is history. They created the revolution with no more than about 10,000 revolutionaries. They needed assistance from the West, and they got assistance from Germany, from Britain, and from the United States to continue and consolidate the revolution.
Just tell us all over again why.
Why?
Just
You
tell
won't
it
find this in
again.
the textbooks. Why is to bring about, I suspect, a plan to control world society in which you and I won't find the freedoms to believe and think and do as we believe.
Did these power brokers actually envision at that time a one-world government that would be socialist?
Yes. The second statement I made was that they did not want the Soviet Union to develop into another free enterprise society, and that this would offset it. Aiding the revolution would offset this event. That was made as a statement in 1919.
1919. This goes to show you that these globalists have been planning this for centuries. And Anthony Sutton, who's no longer with us because this guy was popular in the 70s and the 80s, they've been planning this for a long period of time, man. And of course, Dandy Jersey and all these other fucking idiots in here. It's boring, Ghost. It's boring. That's why you're going to sleep in a capsule and you'll be eating deep-fried crickets, you stupid son of a bitch.
It's one by Gillette, the razor blade Gillette, called The City, I think it was, which laid out this corporate socialism for the world to see as early as, 1905, 1910. So around the turn of the century, you begin to see actually written statements by these internationalist businessmen of the kind of socialist empire they wanted to bring about. It's there, but these books, of course, are not included in your courses in political science and history at the regular universities.
Well, talk about the Red Cross mission.
Red Cross mission to Russia, 1918.
About 17 bankers, lawyers, businessmen.
Well, yes, it had nothing to do.
Doctors.
There were two doctors, I think. There were two doctors.
What was the mission?
The mission was financed by William Boyce Thompson, the Chase Manhattan Bank, Federal Reserve System.
Now, this is why I've always said, okay, if we have wars, how come non-government organizations like the Red Cross are on both sides of the war? How does that work? And this is what Anthony Sutton is describing why.
The Red Cross didn't want to send a mission. The Red Cross said we don't need a mission to Russia. They already had one in Romania, which was doing a good job. But William Boyce Thompson wanted this mission, and he put the money up. He financed it. And if you look, I printed a list of the people on the mission, and they were mostly bankers and lawyers, Wall Street lawyers, and people in and around the Wall Street establishment. The function or the purpose of this mission was to be in place to assist the Bolshevik Revolution. The Red Cross mission to Russia was a cover vehicle. It enabled these Wall Street elitists, these Wall Street manipulators to be there in place, and then I traced a cable, $1 million from the Morgan Company in New York to Petrograd. I forget to which bank, but it came from William Boyce Thompson, and which financed the revolution. And then they put pressure back in the State Department in Washington to actually send arms to the revolution, which went forward in 1918. And then I found in the State Department files an extraordinary telegram in which Trotsky appealed to the State Department to send American Army instructors to train the new Soviet Army. And I think I reprinted that in one of my earlier books. So, briefly, the Red Cross mission was a cover vehicle to enable Wall Street to be there in place to guide.
The Red Cross has always been a fake vehicle for piety and health, and it is a globalist institution like most non-government organizations.
The ongoing Bolshevik revolution.
And what was the response of the State Department?
Oh yes, they were quite willing to send U.S. Army instructors.
Do you know how, to what
I don't know if they
extent?
went forward. I know the arms, I know the rifles went forward. I didn't trace the response to the telegram, except it was approved within the State Department. And I reprinted the telegram.
Hold
I
on,
never did find the
Winston.
response. That's
Goddammit,
probably taken out the files.
here we are. Hold on, pause this. We're red pilling people about what the fuck and how the fuck communism erected itself in Russia, and here you are. You're probably gonna fucking donate some goddamn fucking enemy. Give me a fucking break.
Do you know
man.
the figure to which Wall Street supported the Bolsheviks?
Well, it was $1 million.
Just the William Boyce Thompson figure?
That figure. But then you've got the other assistance.
From Germany.
For example, the whole Siberian episode. See, in 1918, the Bolsheviks really only controlled Moscow and what was then Petrograd, which is now Leningrad. They could not have beaten off the White Russians, the Czechs, who were in Russia at that time, the Japanese, who were anti-Bolshevik. They could not have beaten it off without assistance from the United States and from Britain. And the Siberian Railroad is critical because if you look at that map of Russia, you know, Moscow and Leningrad are stuck at the left end, and you've got that vast expanse of Russia, and the backbone is the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Now, the history books will tell you that American troops went in, they occupied the Trans-Siberian Railroad in order to prevent the Japanese from coming in. Well, this is absolute nonsense. I've never written the book. I hope to get around to it one day. I've got 2 big boxes of files on this. The purpose of the American army in Siberia was to hold the Trans-Siberian Railroad until the Bolsheviks were strong enough to take it over. And they did that very effectively. They held off the Japanese. They held them back near Manchuria. They evacuated the Czechs out along the Trans-Siberian Railroad. The French and the British gave up because they said the Americans are helping the Bolsheviks. They evacuated. And in one of these books, I reprinted a little clipping from the New York Times of, I think, 1919. Finally, the Bolsheviks got to Vladivostok, right at the far end of Siberia, near Japan, in which the local commissar addressed the American army.
I'm here,
and thanked
dude. I'm
them
trying to
for
let everybody
aiding the
hear this
revolution.
shit.
And that was in the New York Times, and I reprinted it. Now, this is totally contrary to everything you find in the textbooks. The textbooks say we went into Siberia to at least be neutral, and I suppose most people would assume we went in to stop the Bolsheviks. We didn't. We went in to help the Bolsheviks. There's no question about that.
That is correct.
There's
We're
no
going to stop
question
it
that they-
there, man. Thank you very much, Walmart Bill Cooper. Even though you've got these fucking idiots who don't give a rat's ass about history, this is why we're being destroyed, at least intellectually as a country. You know what I mean?
Neoconservatives or neocons.
Now, let me tell you what neoconservative is, okay? It's democracy. It's actually a foreign policy more than anything else. I mean, it's an international relations policy. Neocons is democratization by force. That's what it is.
Beginning to the Cold War era. This period of American history saw a hard shift away from the historic domestic focus of the country to one of interventionist foreign policy. Like neoliberals who constitute the other half of what some have called the Uniparty, neocons are defined by a pro-globalist policy, unrelenting support for free trade, military interventionism in foreign countries in the name of spreading or protecting democracy, support for the military-industrial complex which facilitates these interventions, cooperation with foreign organizations and interests which further facilitate globalization, and an oftentimes warped view of American exceptionalism that demands a sharing of American prosperity with the world. Domestic policy is what differentiates...
That's a fairly decent definition of neoconservatism. All right, that's the only thing he's gotten right here. That's the only thing he's gotten right.
In that neocons will push for fiscally and socially conservative domestic policies, but are more than willing to compromise on domestic policy to gain support in foreign proposals. Because of this weak-handed approach to domestic social issues, as well as the cross-party influence of this interventionist faction, the neocons have become a haven for liberal subverters intent on undermining the larger conservative faction by pushing its Overton window to the left. Understandably, this faction is rife with politicians often regarded by other conservatives as rhinos.
Well, hold on
Noteworthy
just a
figures of the
second. I don't think that their foreign policy is leftist, okay? I mean, their foreign policy is what some on the real left, I mean, not these fucking idiots that don't know what foreign policy is, many on the real left would say that this is a technocratic imperialism. And that what neoconservatives are advocating is American exceptionalism to be bestowed around the world. Now, I am not the biggest fan of this, but I have read about neoconservatism. I've studied neoconservatism. I read the PNAC document, the Project for a New American Century, and everything that they've outlined on there has come to pass. So, as a student of foreign policy, like I've always been, you have to give validity to the ideas that have actually come to pass. And that's what's happened. I mean, that's what's happened with the neoconservative idea, the Project for the New American Century. I mean, look at the Project of a New American Century. It was written in like 98, okay? And everything that they've described on there, and even though it's harsh, it's not necessarily humanitarian, it can be highly criticized. The whole intention of those plans was to make the Russians fall, which they're currently doing, and to make China fall, which is currently happening right now with the economic implosion and the Chinese communists trying to suppress the uprising from that economic implosion by implementing a zero COVID policy that is now causing the whole goddamn population of China to go berserk. So, I mean, I'm not a neocon, but I'll be honest with you, the things that they wrote in the PNAC document is absolutely happening 100%.
Neocon factions
Absolutely happening
include George W.
100%.
Bush, Dick Cheney, and Dan Crenshaw.
If you want my opinion, I think that we should aid Israel, not because of this Hamas shit, but we should use them. We should try to navigate their motive and their determination away from Gaza and motivate it towards Iran. And I alluded to this last year, that we could use Israel as a means of confronting Iran. And once they begin confronting Iran, that's when, we get to some really serious business in the Middle East. And the whole reason why we would want that, because we want destabilization. I mean, what they've been saying about us, our enemies, is absolutely correct. I mean, we want destabilization. I mean, it's the whole proverbial how George Bush Jr. said, we're fighting them over there, so we don't have to fight them over here. You know what I'm saying? And Five Finger Prostate Punch said, so you're convinced those people to die? I'm not, fuck you. I didn't say that, asshole. All right, just shut your mouth. But take a look at this. The risk of a broader Middle East war is rising. All right, so I believe that if we were to aid Israel, or I wouldn't say aid Israel, I think that we need to somehow navigate Israel's determination away from what they have now done to Gaza and the Palestinians and go right into Iran and eliminate the problem of Iran for us. And I think that that's in the cards right now, if you want my opinion. And once that happens, the whole area will be destabilized, from Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran. And you see, I'm not trying to sound like some, fucking sick-ass Mossad agent or anything, but we kind of need for this to happen because lest we forget, okay, there's over 1 billion Muslims on this planet. And let's just say for the sake, as a matter of fact, I think it's 1.2 billion or some shit. Let's just say for the sake of argument, 10% of them, 10% of that billion are radicalized Muslims that want to commit jihad and that are fundamentalists and that are willing to blow themselves up and that sort of thing. How do you contain that? How is it that you contain that? You certainly can't kill them all. You certainly can't round them all up. So what you do is you provide the conflict necessary in order for these folks to centrally concentrate their motivations in an arena that is away from the United States of America. And this is how, believe it or not, everybody's calling me, oh, you're glowing, Ghost. Hey, this is how foreign policy and diplomacy works. This is how black operative diplomacy works. And you see, once this happens in the Middle East, all these variants of Islam, and this is what has been culminating for the past 10 years. I've actually been talking about this in fucking 2017, 2016. I mean, this is what we've been trying to accomplish. Because you have to control 1 billion people, especially if it was only 10% of that 1.2 billion that's radicalized. You have to engage them to engage each other so that they can kill each other voluntarily. And we, the United States, are looking like the ones that are trying to mitigate the situation. That is what fucking black operative diplomacy is all about. Why do you think I can prognosticate these events? Because, well, you got to figure that shit out on your own, all right? But that's why we're doing what we're doing. And it's way beyond the pay grade of many of you folks out there who think that fucking politics is a fucking team game. All right, let me get back to, and this is not Radio Graffiti. This is call-in, by the way, all right? I'm having people call in, all right? Let's see, who do we got here? How about 770? You're on the horn.
Hey, Ghost.
What's up, man?
I was wondering, I thought, what's his name, Ramaswamy.
Okay, wrap it up. You've gone on long enough with this rant.
Along the points, but you kept complaining about his foreign policy. So I'm wondering, like, what's wrong with his foreign policy, at least in comparison to the others?
You're talking about Vivek Ramaswamy because there was a dono. I didn't hear your first part. You were talking about Vivek Ramaswamy?
I said, I'm wondering what's wrong with his foreign policy.
Well, his foreign policy wants to capitulate to Russia and China. And I don't think we should be capitulating. I mean, he's already said that we should just abandon ship and allow Russia to take over Crimea and eastern Ukraine and northeastern Ukraine and all that shit. I mean, and I mean, that's only going to embolden the Russians to continue going. And I think that's what Mike Pence was trying to call him out on. And, of course, Ramaswamy was trying to get louder with Mike Pence because he didn't want to be called out on that. And he was called out on it with China because he feels that we shouldn't do shit with China. You know what I mean? We should be continuing to, these imbalanced trade deals with China and suck China's schlonghead. And he was called out by Nikki Haley on that. So that's my biggest criticism on his foreign policy. I don't think he knows what foreign policy is.
Well, I guess I get that, but that's just thinking. I don't really give a shit about European conflict. I don't think we should just leave Ukraine to its lonesome at the same time. We're giving way too much stuff to them, and we really should focus on America. I saw when.
Wait, well, hold on. We are focusing on America. What are you talking about? I hate when people say we're focusing on America. What does America need right now that we're not getting?
Well, we got people out in the streets. Our borders are completely screwed.
That's most of the people that are on the streets are there because they want to be there. Okay, they're there because they want to be there because they're drug addicts and they're fucking losers. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying we could divert more money towards America instead of Ukraine.
Hey, by the way, have you ever seen anybody give away food at L.A. Skid Row? Have you ever seen that done?
Luckily, I've never been in L.A.
Yeah, well, go out there and go hand out food and see what happens to you. All right, go out there and help the homeless and see what happens to you. See how safe you'll feel.
I know it's not a safe place.
You see, that's what I'm saying. You see, everybody is all... You see, this is what social media has done to individuals like this. Like, oh, we should help the homeless. There's no reason people are homeless. You want to know why people are homeless? Because they would rather do drugs and fulfill a degenerate life, which is very easy when, you don't mind sleeping under a fucking bridge or, sleeping in some tarp tent or some bullshit like that. I mean, you have no rent. right? You have no responsibilities, and that's really the crux of most of the homeless problem. It's drug addict pieces of trash, and it's people that have no responsibility. Now, there's another component to the homeless, which are veterans, unfortunately, and that is a whole other arena. I mean, I don't know what to do to solve that problem, because the VA is there for any goddamn veteran that has any kind of problem. I mean, if you find trouble that you can't find a job, if you're, an alcoholic or, I mean, the VA has programs that will actually go and help you. It's just that these folks don't want them. So, I don't know what to do about folks that don't want to participate in society and think that we owe them because they look pathetic and they're on the fucking street. I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for these people. I feel sorry for the veterans with the post-traumatic stress. I don't feel sorry for the rest of the homeless. The rest of the homeless are fucking garbage pieces of spoiled brat shit that ran away from home because they wanted to be fucking drug addict slut bags. All right, so I'm sorry. I mean, whenever I hear somebody say, "Oh, we got to take care of America," what does that mean? Dude, we have the best safety net of any fucking country. All right? I mean, if you're poor right now, you can go and apply for a plethora of different programs that can pay for your housing, that can pay for your food, that can pay for your schooling. I mean, all you have to do is apply to them, okay? No one's going to give you shit. Even if you want a bureaucracy to give you shit, you've got to apply for that shit. So, look, I'll be honest with you. We had, I don't know about now, but during our peak, during the time in which we couldn't find fucking workers anywhere post-COVID, I mean, you had to give people fucking signing bonuses at McDonald's, for fuck's sake. I mean, I've never seen such a thing. I mean, the reason that people aren't going out and working because they don't need to, because we have a great safety net. This is the greatest country on the planet. Every time I hear that, oh, we need to help Americans here, help Americans do what? You're talking about homeless. Take a look at how many obese, morbidly obese homeless people we have on the streets. If you don't believe me, go to your nearest goddamn impoverished part of town and go to the grocery store in the impoverished part of town and count how many fat, obese pieces of shit are waddling their asses up and down the goddamn grocery aisles, for fuck's sake. And you're going to tell me that, oh, we got to help people. Help them do what? All right, we help people all the fucking time. All right, you know what we've done? I think we've helped them too much. My grandma always said, boy, don't feed the stray animals because they breed. And that's all we're doing if we're pussy pampering and coddling fucking people that, oh, I'm homeless, oh this, oh that. Oh yeah? Or do you have a fucking drug problem? Yeah, I actually have a little bit of a meth problem. Oh yeah? So what are you doing about that? Nothing, because I love meth, okay? I love meth. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, man. I mean, I hate to hear, oh, we got to do shit better for Americans. We're the most obese people on the planet, next to Kuwait. And you just take a look at Ard Hammond and you'll see why. I mean, we're the most obese fucking country on the planet. I mean, we are so ungrateful. All right? The United States people are so ungrateful and spoiled that now they're advocating for universal basic income. Income for just fucking living. Unfucking believable. All right, I'm not gonna shed a tear for anybody that claims that, oh, we got to help America. Dude, that's all we've been doing. And you want to know why I'm so pissed off at this? Because every fucking year I pay, all right, I pay the amount of money, actually more than the amount of money every fucking year of like almost a 1%er. I'm not even joking. I pay like above the median income of your average salary employee in taxes. And it's fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible to write that check to the IRS and knowing that all we're doing is pussy pampering and coddling a bunch of pieces of shit that just turn perfectly good food into shit. And the bad part about it is, the shit that they take actually has more of a contribution to this society than they do, because at least shit fertilizes the earth. So
I'd buy that for $1.
Check the Trovo stream. One Mogain Plaza posted a dono message. PSBROLI weed BROLI weed BROLI weed BROLI weed BROLI weed.
All right, thank you. And look, Ann and Philly is literally making it rain, and same with Spent Canister. We got some Trovo people that are out there making it rain with whatever Trovo currency that they're using. But Ann and Philly said, Ghost, the Trovo emotes don't show up on stream for some reason. P.S. Broly weed. All right, so there it is. Ann and Philly holding it down over there in the Trovo stream. Lots of folks on Trovo for some reason now. But cheers to Ann and Philly. But let's take a couple more calls. I didn't mean to get off on that soliloquy about the homeless, but I mean, America is unbelievably generous to everybody. I mean, even if you're a fucking useless piece of shit. I mean, our American entitlement system, our safety net, is the best, all right? And unfortunately, it's not producing anything. It's just perpetuating the losery, I should say, losery, because they're losers and they're users. I don't know if y'all seen the latest headlines, but here recently I've seen headlines that say Putin's nuclear threats don't scare anybody anymore. They never should have scared anybody, all right? They're fucking punks, all right? They're fucking punks. Just like China. They're fucking punks. Just like Iran and Hezbollah, look at fucking Israel doing our dirty work, just like I said was gonna happen. All of you people out there, like fucking Drew the Conqueror, I don't know if he's still here. My Jew. Jews control this, Jews control that. Do you understand that Israel is the United States' terrorist satellite, and they're doing our dirty work? So, L'chaim to my Jewish brethren out there. They're out there fucking kicking ass in the Middle East, dude. They got the Middle East scared shitless. You don't hear shit out of Yemen. They threw a couple of bottle rockets at fucking Israel, and then Israel set their whole entire port city on fire and shit. Here, give me a smoke. That's it, hold it in the rain. They're building a greater Israel? Well, I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, everybody that they are now engaged with refuses to, come into modernity. They refuse to, bring themselves into the modern times. They want to still live like it's 1347 or some shit. Pookie from 713, how many Israeli legislators have dual citizenship with the U.S.? Well, I'm sure there are some, But Israel, I mean, I'll be honest with you, man, they're doing our dirty work, baby. Because you know what's happening here? If there is a global conflict, world war, we're already depleting the Middle Eastern front. Okay? We're already depleting Eastern European front. All right? And now, what we're going to engage in here, and as I've stated, there's going to be some things happening in Asia, which were already happening. I mean, Bangladesh, the shit that's happening in Myanmar, the Philippine-China potential conflict. Believe it or not, Japan is now thrown into this mix. So once you have engagement from all the superpowers or any potential threat to America that's engaged in already a regional confrontation, all we have to do is wait for these people to fucking kill each other and put themselves into such a depleted scenario that the United States just comes in and saves the fucking day. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. So, anyway, thank you very much. This is not a bad video there, SA2 guideline. Thank you very much. All right. And by the way, I don't know if y'all saw, but Japan had to fire some fucking artillery at some Russian jets that were entering their airspace and shit. So they're trying to engage other fronts, especially in Asia. And I would not be surprised if Japan is a target of either China or Russia to expand this war front. And that's why the United States is putting so much pressure on China that we're kind of forcing them to make a move. They either make a move or capitulate. That's just how it is, dude. That's just how it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on this tirade, but it must be said, baby, all right? We got Austrian Tanky. Allah has commanded you to watch this video, all right? Let's fucking do this shit. Let's see what the hell this is. Hold on, wait a minute. It's been decades since the U.S. invasion of Iraq, and it's still haunting tens of thousands of U.S. veterans, including their cursed presidents who made it happen. All right, let's see this. Watch Bush and Biden mistook war in Ukraine as an invasion of Iraq. What the fuck? All right, well, prove me something, all right?
The decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, anyway. 75.
If I recall, whether or not, what would happen if, in fact, after I think the context is
if boots are on the ground,
whether or not they're pulling back from Fallujah.
Or Fallujah.
From the Kherson, the city of Kherson.
Don't you idiots understand that the foreign policy that these presidents implemented, they had nothing to do with? You understand that foreign policy is only articulated through the executive. They don't dictate foreign policy. You know who dictates foreign policy? What they call in Washington the policy wonks. The people that actually write it, and they're actually working within the system, whether at a minute level, a mid-level, or at a high level, and they've actually been able to convince enough people that are within the deep state of the government and the legislative and the executive portion of the government to make it into a reality. And all the president does, and believe it or not, that's all they've done. You think Joe Biden is making these fucking badass foreign policy decisions? Fuck no. He's just articulating them. That's why he gets briefed. Do you think the president makes a fucking decision and is able to be in charge of every micromanaging situation of this bureaucracy? Absolutely not. So right now, believe it or not, we are implementing what many people would believe is the neoconservative foreign policy. Now, the neoconservative foreign policy is defined in the Project for New American Century PNAC document. And if you take a look at that document and you take a look at what it predicted, all right, in the next 25 years, and you take a look, that damn fucking thing was written in what, 99, 90, nothing, 98, 99, 98, some shit. Take a look at everything that has come to pass that is written in that document that they predicted. And you cannot say that their foreign policy can be just purely thrown away because of the harsh realities of having an aggressive foreign policy. So anyway, sorry. Let's go ahead and hear this.
أيها العالم الملتقى حاسم والنصر قادم والنصر قادم والنصر قادم.
By the way, I predicted that we may go back into Iraq because of this Iranian Middle Eastern situation. You better believe it. And this time, we're going to force these pieces of shit to fucking give us the goddamn money we spent liberating these pieces of crap. I'm sorry. These people owe us fucking $7-8 trillion. All right? Fucking piece of shit.
فكوني أخت كابول لجيش الكفر مقبرة فأنت اليوم شامخة.
Hold on. Oh, look at Green Thunder. I love when idiots say this. Oh, we should focus on America than these other countries. Oh, yeah? That's what we did during COVID. All right? The government levied out all kinds of free money. It was the biggest practice of American socialism in history. And what did you idiots go and do with the money? You burnt it on dumb fucking shit. Now, our means of production is focused on the stupidity of you fucking mindless consumers. I never thought I would ever see the kind of shit that is now sought after in this country. Like, what is this plastic Stanley Cup bullshit? What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? I mean, take a look at the show Shark Tank. Only tech, and I mean, I say that loosely, only tech is coming up with anything innovative or anything that, you know, kind of throws us into the future. No manufacturers, nobody's producing anything that's solving problems. It's fucking pathetic. And no, Pookie, that's not capitalism. Because Milton Friedman said, which I don't know, oh, he's Jewish and shit. I think everybody should hear every speech that he gave to fucking leftist college students. Because leftist college students said, well, you know what? We should just go ahead and tax 100% on any kind of leftover savings or inheritance. And Milton Friedman told this idiot that if we tax inheritance at 100%, what is that going to do? It's going to change the mode of production. It's going to change the mode of production from, hey, we need to solve problems, we need to create things that make people more productive, more mobile, more communicate, whatever, to now gluttonous bullshit. Like gluttonous bullshit. That's why we've seen all these ridiculous microbrews, all these dumbass liquor companies, all this dumbass fucking sody pop fucking just dumb shit that has come out. And that's why we're all getting dumber, because our focus has been so out of whack because we've been given all this fucking money. Everybody's been given free money. And look, after COVID, we had the largest savings in American history. There were more savings by 2 times the highest savings level in American history after COVID. And everybody cleaned up their credit, everything. And within 2 fucking years, you morons, not only just blew all that free money, blew all the money that you got from, because everybody was gainfully employed. Remember, there was 11 million jobs for a long period of time, and nobody wanted them, and they wonder why they're allowing fucking migrants in this fucking country. All right? I mean, there's just too much fucking money. All right? Too much fucking money circulating. So what else do we need to do for American people? What else? What else do we need to do? Dude, no one in this country goes hungry unless they voluntarily want to do so. We've got charities. We've got churches. We've got the EBT. All right? I mean, nobody should be homeless. They're only homeless because they want to. We've got the same shit. We got homeless shelters. We've got all kinds of second chance homes and all this other bullshit. All right? I'm tired of hearing this bullshit that, oh, we got to help Americans and we got to help. How much more help do we need to give American fucking people, dude? I mean, if you're a fucking pathetic piece of shit, you can fucking apply for a plethora of different taxpayer-funded entitlements, which many of you idiots have already done so. So what the fuck is the fucking problem? What the fuck is the problem? Look, idiots, if the government is going to give you something, then you can kiss your fucking materialistic or your financial goals goodbye. All right? If you're taking free money from the government, then you can forget about, oh, I want a nice car, I want a nice house. You put that fucking glass ceiling on yourself. All right? So don't fucking piss and moan about it. I'm fucking tired of that shit. Let me tell you something. Ghost was kicked out of the fucking street when he was 18 fucking years of age. All right? Ghost didn't have any fucking money take him under his fucking wing and say, hey, Ghost, let me show you the fucking ropes. Let me show you this. Let me show you that. I didn't have shit. All right? And did I fucking piss and moan and make fucking excuses? And no, I had to deal with this shit. And that's what many of you fuckers need. You need to be thrown out in the fucking street where you fucking belong. And don't, these fucking dickless parents of yours, they should just fucking just leave you out there. And just say, look, if, they become a degenerate or if unfortunately they fail at life or they die early, hey, we did everything we can. All right? Sorry. So anyway, I'm sorry, dude. This is a psyop, dude. Nobody's telling me to say this. I'm saying this because I believe it. All right? If I was born in any other country and I was under the same circumstances that I had in this life, I would be a piece of fucking garbage. Not because I didn't have the ambition, not because I didn't have the will, was because I don't have the opportunity. There's no fucking other opportunity elsewhere in any other country than there are right here in this fucking country right here. All right? So, fuck all of you that are saying, oh, we need America, we need to do this for America. How much fucking more shit do we need to fucking do for American people? How much more? I mean, look, you need free education. You know how many fucking goddamn student fucking grants were given to fucking people that don't deserve it? Why do you think colleges are now turning into fucking violent high schools, for Christ's sake? Because we're giving all these people that really don't deserve to be in college, we're giving them grants to be in college. So give me a fucking break, dude. I mean, what do we help America? How much fucking more do we need to help American people? How much more? How much more? Jesus fucking Christ.
للعز مفخرة فكوني أخت كابون لأهل الكفر مقبرة فأنت اليوم.
Hey, Jailcat Jones. Oh, some countries have free colleges. Yeah, where are they at? Huh? What's their GDP, you fucking dumb, stupid moron? Huh? What's their intellectual capital? They're shit. That's why. Take a look at China. China, believe it or not, forced their generation. You know, they forced their millennials and their Gen Zers, their latter Gen Zers, into focusing on getting PhD graduate degrees. And now that all these fucking millennial and Gen Z pricks are now graduating from these PhD higher graduates, there's no fucking work for these people. There's too many intellectuals that are needed for the jobs that are available there in China. And now the communist Chinese are saying, you're going to have to go and do general labor. Okay? So, great. They got free education that the fucking government said, okay, you do this, you do that. They've got postgraduate degrees. They're fucking intellectuals, and they don't have no fucking job to go to. All right? So get the fuck out of here, fucking Jailcat Jones, all right? Name me something that's worth the shit that you have gotten for free, all right? And I'll tell you, it probably was like a tchotchke, you know, that hit that dopamine in your brain for a second, then it broke, and then you forgot about it. The fuck out of here.
مشامخة لأهل العز مفخرة لأهل العز مفخرة لأهل العز مفخرة يا بلوجة الأبطال بالعلج بالنار ولا
Oh, look at this idiot. I got a bunch of video games for free. You fucking, I bet you're a crater-faced asshole, right? And look, I gotta play Viking Kyle 444's fucking video, for Christ's sake. Can we take the oil fields now, Dad? Here's a mix of political dope followed by a palate cleanser. All right? And don't rob me like the last dono of that Pinochet that you fucking skipped. All right, Viking Kyle, all right? Jesus Christ. Put the PC shut on. What the fuck is this? The hell?
Good evening and welcome to We Lie to You News. Tonight's top story, Israel versus Palestine. We'll be shaping your thinking to help it make sense to you why many on the left are actively cheering on terrorists who are murdering innocent civilians, including babies, which also includes cutting the heads off of babies, kidnapping children, and burning people alive. We have our work cut out for us tonight. But before we get to why the side that's always accusing you of being an anti-Semite, the left, is cheering on the murder of innocent Jews, first we'll cover the funding of these deadly terrorist attacks. It takes a lot of money to fund terrorists so they can buy missiles to bomb Israelis, planes so paratroopers can drop in and murder civilians at festivals, and guns so they can go door to door to shoot babies.
You know, this idiot obviously listened to my shit. Dude, because, listen, nobody was answering. Dude, I said this. Look at the date that I posted my first response to the Israel-Palestinian situation. Because, really, that anybody who believed that Hamas was able to do this, a bunch of ragtag idiots that are under the, I mean, I'm not saying they're occupying, but they have every authority, I'm talking to Israel, to see and look what's going in and out of there.
Children, women, and men. So where did that money come from? Well, probably just out of thin air. But where we know the money didn't come from was Biden, who unfroze $6 billion.
Yeah, well, this is a very misleading right-wing talking point, because the $6 billion that was released like weeks earlier before the goddamn attack. All right, it's weeks earlier than the goddamn attack. So, I mean, this is where people are not going to agree that are on the center, that are going to be like kind of know the news and that sort of thing. That was $6 billion. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And by the way, Iran, and hold on, since we're talking about this, I do want to talk a little bit about it, all right? Iran has insisted, take a look at this. They were not behind the Hamas attack. They have been insisting this, and this is a regime that boasts about their military exploits. They always have. I mean, lest we forget that the Ayatollah or the Islamic Revolution that took over Iran, remember, they held our fucking Marines hostage. I mean, these are not people that are going to be like, oh, you know, they're going to be like, we did it, fuck you, what are you going to do about it? All right? So, I'm just saying, I mean, if Iran did it, they would be like, oh, we did it, this is what we did. Now, because the thing has prolonged and the Israelis have gone in and killed innocent women and children, not even by land invasion, it's by phosphorus and bombs and just horrible shit. Now Iran knows, because look, its people hate them. Now they know they can use this as a means of leverage to be able to, just like China's trying to find, just like Russia did. All these populations of these people, Russia, China, and Iran, they've all been, like, I'm talking the adults in the room, they've all been killed because they followed these idiots. And most of the population are youth, and they're not even in numbers in which it can sustain for the next 10 years. So, anyway, I just want to say this Iran bullshit is crap. I'm not trying to defend Biden, but anybody who knows the news, anybody who understands what's going on, that $6 billion was released like 3-4 weeks ago. This fucking Hamas attack took massive planning, and not just planning, training. I mean, where do they get all this shit? Somebody funded all this shit. Gaza can't even fucking have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. They're not allowed to have a goddamn thing. And yet they were able to fucking have paragliders and drones, and they had weapons with obviously massive amount of ammo. They had rockets. They had men that were trained. I mean, these guys moved as if they were in platoons, like they knew how to move. I mean, look at the video of this shit. And then if you look at my, Ghost Part 2 of the Palestinian-Israeli situation, you start realizing that, like I said, I mean, I hate to bring this up, out of the times of Israel, Hamas, Israel's own creation. And if you scroll down here, where it says this, according to the Interceptor, okay, Brigadier General Yitzhak Segev, who was the Israeli military governor of Gaza in the 1980s, Sergeyev told the New York Times that he had helped finance the Palestinian Islamic movement as a counterweight to the secularist and the leftist of the Palestinian Liberation Organization and the Fatah Party, led by Yasser Arafat, who he himself referred to Hamas as a creature of Israel. So, just saying. Okay? Just saying. Anyway, go back to this, what Viking Kyle has put up, because, these simple idiots that think that they're right-wing, they don't understand the complexity of foreign policy. And the $6 billion that was released, by the way, it's not like we gave it to them. We froze those assets a long time ago. And what the Biden administration was trying to do, because they know that OPEC, which is ran by Saudi Arabia, which is now on the side of fucking, for whatever reason, China and Russia now, they're purposely cutting production to try to raise the price of oil in an already situation in which we are heightening interest rates and we're having monetary tightening. So Biden understands that, hey, well, not Biden, the fucking people that are, this guy's a fucking idiot. You have to realize that Biden is not making the decisions. It's the people that are under him. But whoever's under him realizes that, hey, look, we're going to have to get petroleum from somewhere. And that's why they're negotiating with the Iranians, because they're outside of the framework of OPEC. And same with Venezuela. Why do you think we're seeing so many Venezuelan immigrants in this country? Because that was the deal. Because we knew that this was going to happen as a consequence of the foreign policy. So now what's happening is that unfortunately, Israel, if you want my opinion, allowed the Hamas attack to happen to them because of the actions of the current administration. I mean, if you take a look at the actions of the current administrations, regardless of what party you're at, this has been a very non-favorable Israeli administration in the Biden administration. And now it forces the hand of Biden because of all this shit. So anyway, I know everybody's like, oh, save it for TCR. Go fuck yourself. All right, play the rest of this shit.
Giving it to Iran. Irrelevant side note, Iran is the country that Hamas credited for funding them and their attacks. The Babylon Bee reports that the White House claims the $6 billion to Iran is not related to the
Hamas, I just showed, was funded by Israel. From the Times of Israel. And this guy is trying to quote the Babylon Bee for satirical purposes, but still trying to paint a narrative, which suggests to me, when, you know, it's one thing to lay out the facts and say, hey, look, this is how it is. So if you believe this or believe that or what, this is a fucking agenda. And by the way, Viking Kyle, I'm really surprised that you're taken by this fucking homo, because this guy's cringe as fuck.
Exactly $6 billion worth of rockets being fired into Israel. And that's irrefutably true, because on September 11th, of all days, when Biden announced he gave Iran $6 billion, what could go wrong with that? He reassured Americans that no harm would come from it. Thank you for your word, Joe. Because he told Iran that $6 billion was for humanitarian purposes only. You want to blow up?
Yeah, but they didn't get transferred that $6 billion. As a matter of fact, that $6 billion was over the oversight of Qatar, as a matter of fact. And they have frozen those fucking funds, by the way. Let me see if I can find that article. All right. I mean, they had control of the funds, and they have since frozen it. Anyway, y'all don't care about that shit, but look it up for yourself. Okay? I'm just simply stating, if we're going to blame anybody for all this crap, we should blame Trump for antagonizing the whole situation by unilaterally saying that we're going to have an embassy in Jerusalem. I blame this all on fucking Trump, dude. I mean, this is really why if you're to look at this for face value on why Hamas would do it, I think it was Israel. I think Israel is Hamas is ISIS. I mean, but y'all don't remember when Trump unilaterally, against everybody, against Congress, against everybody, said we're going to designate the United States Embassy in Jerusalem. And you need to realize that nobody has acknowledged Jerusalem as the Jews, because that means if you have an embassy in Jerusalem in Israel, then that means that you acknowledge that Jerusalem is Israel's, which is the whole dispute of this whole fucking shit.
The Western European immigrants were just fine because they kept to the relative same social contract. The slaves and Eastern European filthy youths did not.
What the hell are you talking about, Haywood? Western Europe was fighting each other for a fucking millennia. What are you talking about? All right, the French and the English had a fucking 100-year war, for Christ's sake. And by the way, has anybody done any research about the 100 Years' War between the English and French? It lasted so long that these morons, these fucking monarchs, were writing each other, and they were like, oh, yes, you know, it's about time for you to raid this region here, and I'll go ahead and let you have this region, and you'll let me have this other region here, you know? I mean, they were laughing about it. I mean, that's all Europe has done. I mean, people give Europe all this fucking credit. Europe was under the fucking thumb of idiot feudalism. Divine right feudalism for like 1,000 fucking years. Almost 1,000 years. You know that there were 15 Louis in France? 15 fucking Louis. Just imagine that shit. 15 fucking, being ruled by 15 fucking Louis. Just unbelievable. Iron Wolfspear said, cough, War of the Roses, cough. That's what I'm saying. I'm sick and tired of like people like Haywood, who don't even fucking understand European history, and say, oh, Western Europeans were just fine. We were so great. If fucking Europe was so great, how come the New World even became a reality? How come people said, fuck Europe, fuck these fucking idiots over here. I'm getting on a boat, okay? I'm getting on a boat, risking disease, risking sinking ship, risking my life to go to a place that who the fuck knows what's over there. And then once you get off the boat, your work has just begun. You've got to plow fields, you've got to domesticate animals, you've got to figure out irrigation, you got to do all this shit. I mean, that's a pretty big fucking decision for people to get on a boat, okay? And by the way, the boats back then were guided by the wind, all right? These were sailboats. So, who the fuck knows where you're really going? And, you run the risk of fucking sinking the ship. How come people risk that shit? Because Europe sucked. Europe sucked, And guess what? Europe still sucks. All right, take a look at what Europe is now. The yoke of so-called European history is being withered away by a bunch of socialist shitheads. And what is Europe doing? They're just allowing it to happen. They're just allowing all this shit to happen. Why? Because you European Euro cucks are just a bunch of socialist shitheads. And as long as the government continues to feed you some dole payment, and as long as you can continue to be like, oh, yes, I'm from Europe, yes, I retired at 40 years old, yes, we at Europe, we like to smoke, we like to drink, we like to do drugs, we like to fuck, and that's what we do. Oh, jeez. What is this? Hello? What is this?
Hello.
What the hell? Is that it? Jesus Christ. Look, this is an audio file, by the way, folks. I have no idea. And what's up to Laggett, basic member of the channel, man? Cheers to Laggett, who just became a basic member of the channel. Cheers to you, man. I hope you're having a good extended July 4th weekend, all right? Anyway, is that it? That's all you had was hello? Jesus Christ. Anyway, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off on that soliloquy about Europe and all that crap, but I'm sick and tired of these. Oh! No! Shut up! All right, dude. I'm gonna end. Wait, J Money? J Money?
Hey, Ghost, it's me.
Oh, no.
I just wanted to check in on Sosie. How you doing?
Oh, my
I just
God.
finished cutting up my pubes. My pubic hair.
What?
Anyway, I was agreeing that the Germans we are the best. And I was taking.
Dude, who is this idiot?
He was telling us the messages and
Who is this asshole?
To follow up with all the Nazi stuff and about how good the Nazi stuff was, and I was thinking, you know what? That's pretty smart.
Oh, Jesus Christ! This guy.
Did you have
take
good
shit.
I really can't wait for this presidential campaign. You know, there's my blow up doll.
What the fuck? Your blow-up doll? So, as I was stating, I mean, this is going to continue. So go to Yemen. As a matter of fact, Indigo Traveler, check out his Yemen piece. He actually went to Yemen, believe it or not. And believe it or not, these people are in the midst of high inflation. They're in the midst of, like, a civil war situation. And yet most of these people in Yemen still have a smile on their face. And they still try to find happiness, and they don't fucking piss and moan and shit. And whenever they're asked, what do you want for the country? They just want stability and they want safety. Fucking, and you people have it out here and you take it for granted in America. You take safety for granted. You take the fact that you can go out and make money for granted. You take out, everybody in this country takes it for granted. And you people should be fucking kissing the ground tomorrow. And thanking God that you're in this fucking country and not in some shithole like fucking Yemen or Sudan or fucking any of these places. I mean, go take a look at the Indigo Traveler's fucking content, man. This guy goes there and he's on the fucking ground of these third world shitholes. And these poor people, they don't even have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, for Christ's sake. Fucking American people should be a little bit more fucking grateful. I'll tell you that right goddamn now. I mean, no, and you wonder why the terrorists hate us? You know? We got fucking homeless people that are fucking morbidly obese, okay? And I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm going to say it one more again. I challenge you all to go to your impoverished part of town, wherever the hell you're fucking located, go to your impoverished part of town, and go to the grocery store in that impoverished part of town, and take a look at how many morbidly obese motherfuckers are waddling around that son of a bitch. I'm telling you all right now, you all are ungrateful American people. And, you know, a little humility tomorrow wouldn't hurt either. A little humility, you know, thinking, hey, you know what, I'm a lucky son of a bitch for being in this country. I'm a lucky son of a bitch to be in the relevant safety of this country. The ability so I can go out to a fucking bar or club. I can go out in my dirty, shitty, skid-marked underwear at 4 a.m. and get myself an artery-clogging double cheeseburger. All right? I mean, this is freedom, man. This is freedom that you people take fucking for granted. And I can't fucking stand you people looking at you people from a third-party perspective and thinking to myself, you people, you're proud to be in America? You people are taking it for granted. All right? I love this country, man. And this is a country made for the people and by the people, but if the people are all a bunch of unappreciative fucking shitheads, it's no wonder why we have the political system that we have today. And wait a minute, prosthetic wheelchair, no drinking show on the 4th means you hate the United States. What the hell does that mean? The hell does that mean, for Christ's sake? And we got Ouija Slayer. I'm very much appreciative to be living in the United States. You're damn well. I hope so. I hope there's some of you are. And I hope tomorrow, when you're celebrating with your families, I hope that you all tell yourselves, thank God we're American people. Thank God we have the Bill of Rights. Thank God we're not under some despot dictator. Okay, we're not under some fucking monarch rule. All right? Jesus Christ. So look at the freaking chicken. My medical bills are 40 grand. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. But, I mean, what do we...
Ghost, you sounded like Donald Duck getting sucked off by Scrooge McDuck.
How the hell would you know what that sounds like, first and foremost? And secondly, I was holding it in so I could, the marijuana smoke could hit the brain, dude. That's what I was doing. What is this?
Hey Ghost, what do you think about the Younger Dryas extinction theory? Do you believe there was one or more great societies that were wiped out about 12,500 years ago by a giant comet asteroid hitting Greenland ice sheets?
No, I don't. Okay, I don't think that asteroids destroyed civilizations. If there were any civilizations, we destroyed ourselves. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at Rome. Do you remember Rome fell when the barbarians took over Rome? What is this?
M in the chat for malware on
all right,
Obama
shut up.
PC.
Shut the fuck up with malware on my PC. Shut up. You don't understand. When Rome fell, there was 200 years of unaccounted for history, what they call the Dark Ages. And that's why the Vatican has those 300-foot walls, because the Vatican walled itself up in those 200 years, or it could be more or less, but 200 years of Dark Ages, and let the barbarians run amok. And once the Vatican realized that you should play Pee-wee Dingo. All right, shut up. When the barbarians realized, when the Vatican realized the barbarians were organizing and that they were obliging leaders dependent on territorial situations, the Vatican, let's be honest, the Vatican showed the barbarian leaders how to be leaders indefinitely. And be honest, folks, after the Dark Ages, every royal family derives from the leadership of the barbarians that reigned supreme after the Dark Ages. And as a result, any royal family post-Dark Ages were barbarians. Amy Daly prostate exams are real funny. They were barbarians that were led by the lineage of the royal families. I mean, if you take a look at the royal families, take a look at their hands when they get old, they start like crinkling up. And the reason that their hands start crinkling up, like, their fingers start turning inward towards their hands, is because the barbarians were also once Vikings and, worked on ships and did hard labor, etc. I think that you need to realize Rome. You read Rome and how Rome fell, you start realizing that civilizations can fall very, very easily. And I don't want to get into the whole history of Rome and, all this other shit, but Rome fell because of the barbarians. And the barbarians ruined civil society. And that's why we have 200 years of unaccounted for history. They call it the Dark Ages. Now, the only reason that we know that this history was lost was because, believe it or not, the Iranians the Iranians, Darius, or the people that derive from those people, the Darius gods and shit. Those folks still had civilization and wrote about the history that was happening outside of the realm of their territorial situation. And as a result, that's why we know that there was around 200 years of Dark Ages. Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole ordeal, but I just think that if you read into that, you'll start realizing that, oh shit, the oldest institution that's around to this day is the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church created the royal families. Who were the barbarians? I could give you a fucking, a lecture on that, but let's just be honest. It was the outstanding territorial populations that didn't want to fall under Rome's dictatorships. Look at this. ZZ, if bored, yawn. Yeah, I know you're yawning because you're an idiot. You're a moron. That's why people are talking about Samaria.
Praise K-E-K.
Yeah, Samaria will rise again. Praise Kek. As a matter of fact, Kek is not a Sumerian god, dude. It's Egyptian. It's Egyptian, you moron. But either way, look, I don't want to talk about this, all right? I don't want to talk about this because, some people are not going to believe it. Some people are going to believe it. I just want you all to know that the things that you see with your ears and eyes on a television doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that's the truth,